Welcome to the fire. Come and warm yourself up as I tell you a story about a player who found themselves in a very cringe game involving naked vampire ladies. Join LGBT Friendly Group, leave because of naked vampire ladies. r/RPG horror stories posted by Pally Ampel. After DMing for several months, I wanted to play a bit myself again, so I tried my luck at finding a group online. On D&D Beyond, there was an ad for a LGBT-friendly group looking for another player. The campaign was supposed to be a homebrew D&D setting with the whole world entirely planned out. Lucky me, I thought. I'm gay, but was nervous to actually mention it in past games. I was hoping for an open-minded group where I could maybe even roleplay a gay character without people getting weird about it. So I applied, and I hoped I could join. When the DM replied, I was really excited. She said I could join. She just wanted to talk to me about my character with the other DM. Well, the reason behind this was that the female DM wanted to play a game with this world she had created, but she didn't actually know, well, anything about actually DMing for D&D, or any other system I wager. Male DM, her friend slash partner, I think, who had ages of experience, wanted to teach her and offered to take over the rule part while she would do storytelling. I'm all for getting new players and DMs into the game, and surely an experienced DM would make sure it went smoothly, right? Before the actual session, female DM wanted to roleplay one-on-one with me how my cleric would get to the place where he meet the other PCs. She described how he was approached by a mysterious, very vampire-looking man and his, female companion who was basically naked for no apparent reason. He introduced them as husband and wife and asked my character to join them for a party. Seeing how they acted suspicious as F and I established my PC beforehand as a coward, I refused. Female DM asked me to make a wisdom save. They had me roll for my stats and insisted on insane scores because the game will be challenging. I ended up with no modifiers under +1 and several +3 and higher. And as a cleric, you're proficient in wisdom saves, so I passed with ease. Then she told me to make another save, and another, 5 times in a row until I finally failed one. You're charmed now and want to do everything they say, so you follow them into their mansion. I wasn't happy about this at all. But she was inexperienced and I wanted to give her a chance with the actual session. It only got worse from there. During the actual session, she described excessively, number 1, the nearly naked lowly maids in the mansion, number 2, how sexy the vampire wife was to my character, so scratch playing a gay character, and how she constantly tried to seduce him, and the other players were all over the map so nobody could even talk in character. The male DM, who was supposed to oversee the rules, apparently had a stomach flu of some kind and regularly excused himself to go puking. He bent the rules to make her happy and made up excuses for completely batshit rulings because it's a homebrew setting and stuff just works different. To be clear, I don't think female DM had ever even opened a rulebook. She just wanted to have people care about her made-up world full of sexy OP vampires and feather dragons. Male DM, on the other hand, had obviously let her run into this completely under-equipped, and he inserted his own DMPC into every situation. That guy had a +15 to everything and solved every conflict the PCs could have handled. Like a creepy guy harassing one of the female PCs, I went and got another PC for help, happy that there was finally an opportunity to roleplay together. But male DM said, "What? You don't get OPDM PC? He's a paladin!" Then said paladin barged in and beat up the creep while all players just awkwardly listened. During our initial talk, we had discussed ground rules, and to top everything off with a cherry, it soon became apparent how important those ground rules really were to them. As I do with any new game I join, I had asked about sensitive topics, and if/how they would be addressed. They assured me it was very important to them to make sure everyone was comfortable, and that sexual scenes would be roleplayed one-on-one in a separate chat. I found that a bit weird, but since it wouldn't concern me that way, it seemed like a good compromise. I also specifically told them that I didn't want to have any sexual stuff happen on screen, because I read enough of this subreddit and wanted to take precautions. After 2 hours of repeated roles, sexy maids, one PC just taking an NPC's job offer and leaving mid-game, male DM's puking breaks, and female DM's casual mention of the ghosts in her room, I was very close to just walking out. Still, that would be rude, and the other players seemed well-intentioned, so I just had to hold on until the session was over. That was what I intended, at least before the sexy, basically naked vampire lady asked one PC how she intended to pay for a favor. "With my body," the PC answered. Sexy vampire lady gleefully accepted, and the female DM immediately lunged into a graphic description. Well, I left. After I had cooled off, I wrote a message in the Discord chat, thanking them for letting me play with them, but that I wouldn't join their group because it just wasn't the kind of game I personally was looking for. Immediately, the male DM deleted my message, then PN'd me and started a whole guilt trip about how female DM was upset and crying, and that I didn't give them any chance to work it out, and that the whole sex scene was just a blunder and they hadn't really meant it. Looking back, I left just at the right time. It made me very careful around online groups, but I found a great group to play with a few months ago. The ad for this group still shows up on D&D Beyond sometimes. It looks like they have trouble keeping their players. Yikes. Yeah, that's certainly quite a situation there. While having a secondary DM to help with the rules isn't too bad, at least attempt to try and learn the rules yourself first. And don't even get me started on DMPCs. Not a fan, but that's something I'll get into some other time. But I digress. This sounds super railroady, and honestly, it sounds like the female DM just wants to do some ERP, aka erotic roleplay, which is fine, but let the other players in on it in the beginning. That, or just write some erotic fanfiction. That way, you'll save a lot of people their precious time, and yeah, glad you got out of that situation fairly early on, OP. And that's our story. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more future content. Also, if you would kindly follow the socials posted in the description, that would be amazing. As always, be good, be great, be awesome.